Good morning, dear students. This is Rajalakshmi, Biology Faculty, DAV High School, SDSTPS, AP Genco, Nelatur. I welcome you all to the seventh part of the lesson, Transportation, the Circulatory System. Dear children, we have discussed in the previous session about the root pressure through which the water molecules enter into the plant. Now let us find out whether there are any other process through which the water is drawn through the xylem vessels. As we discussed earlier, if only the root pressure in the xylem vessels is the force behind the movement of water, it is difficult in some seasons and for some plants like eucalyptus. In plants like eucalyptus, the water reaches up to 180 meters high. How do you think it is possible? Let us find out. In the lower classes, you have performed an activity to understand about evaporation of water in plants. Let us recall it. Why does the inner surface of the cover become moist? That is due to the water vapor coming from the plant. So, the evaporation of water through leaves is called transpiration. So, transpiration occurs through stomata of the leaves and lenticels which are present in the stem. When the leaves transpire, there is a pulling effect on the continuous column of water in xylem vessels. The xylem vessels surrounded by mesophyll cells that contain cell sap helps the water to evaporate into the air spaces causing the pull. This water column does not break because of its continuous molecular attraction. This is a mechanism based on the property of water where we observe every time we drink through a straw. So children, as you can see in the picture, the water molecules are forming like a continuous column and creating the transpiration pull. So dear children, we know that water is absorbed by osmosis from soil by the root hairs. So from the root hairs, it is passed into the xylem vessels which form a continuous system of tubes through root and stem and into the leaves. This evaporation creates the minor and main pull of water above root pressure, which gives a variable and minor push from below. This results in the continuous column of moving water, which is called the transpiration system. So other than root pressure, this is the force behind the movement of the transportation of water in the xylem vessels. My dear children, as we are discussing about the transpiration, do you think there is any relation between transpiration and rainfall? Obviously yes. The more the transpiration from the plants, the more humidity is added to the air. For example, some plants like oak transpires about 900 liters of water per day. So therefore, the areas of forest have significantly high degree of saturation in the air above them. So as a result, the air becomes completely saturated and it results in the high rainfall. Not only water, the minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, etc. are transported all through the plant along with the water. It is nothing but involves a simple process called diffusion. So as the ions are absorbed along with water, they are transported through xylem vessels and reaches various growing points of plants and help in the proper growth of plants. So the water and minerals are transported equally in the plants. It's not the water and minerals alone help the growth of plant. Children, as all of you know, the foods such as sugars are synthesized in the green parts of the plant, mainly in the leaves, and transported to all the living cells. The veins of the leaves, which contain the phloem tissue, is responsible for transportation of the food molecules. This following experiments provides an evidence that food is transported in the phloem cells. Let's find out what is that activity. As the phloem sieve tubes are extremely small, analysis of their contents is difficult for biologists. So, they use the aphids which feed on the plant juices. The aphids will suck the plant juices by inserting their needle-like organ called proboscis into the phloem tissue of the plant. So, to examine the plant juice, an aphid is killed while in the act of feeding and the body is removed carefully from the plant. The proboscis is left in the phloem tissue. So, due to a slight pressure, the proboscis exudes the liquid in the form of drops and the drops are analyzed. So, when the drops are analyzed, it is found that they are having the sugars and amino acids. Sometimes we can observe to some plants or trees that the bark of the trees are damaged. When such thing happens, the upper part of the damaged part is bulged. It happens because as the bark is damaged, the phloem tissue which is outwards is removed and the food is accumulated above the damaged part. If it is left in that manner, the damage prevents the food from passing down to the roots and the tree will eventually die. So this causes an economic loss for the gardeners or the forest. This damage is a fact of great importance, economical importance, because certain mammals like voles, rabbits scratch the bark of saplings at ground level and eat of them. As a result, they create a great damage to the older ones. So, to avoid this, the foresters encourage the growth of predators like fox, hawks, badgers, etc., which help in controlling the population of voles and reduces the population. So, in this manner, they create an economical alternative for the damage of the trees. So, with this, children, I conclude this lesson. Hope you have gathered a more information. Thank you.